Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, what's up? I'm Eric, and today we're tackling something that's been on my mind for a long time. Can you actually be a hardcore libertarian, someone who believes in the non-aggression principle, private property, voluntary everything, and a serious Orthodox Christian at the same time? Like, not just, yeah, I go to church sometimes, but someone chasing theosis, the church fathers, the whole thing. Now, a lot of people think these two worlds are like oil and water. Libertarians sound too individualistic, to me and my rights. Orthodox folks sometimes come across super communal, with heavy emphasis on tradition, authority, and caring for the poor. But I have spent a bunch of time digging into this, and I think there's a really deep, powerful synthesis here. Not a forced one, but a natural harmony that makes both sides stronger. Today, we're going to unpack it conversational style. I like to keep things real, no academic robotic voice, but by the end, I want you to see how a free society built on libertarian principles might actually be one of the best environments for living out authentic Orthodox Christianity. All right, let's jump into it. First, let's get on the same page real quick here. When I say libertarian law, I'm mostly talking about the non-aggression principle, or NAP. Super simple. Don't initiate force, fraud, or coercion against other people or their stuff. You own yourself. You can homestead unused land or trade voluntarily. Markets sort things out through free exchange. Government, if it exists at all, should be tiny, just protecting against aggressors. It's not, I hate poor people or I want chaos. It's let's stop using violence or threats to make people do what we want. Negative liberty, freedom from being messed with, so people can pursue whatever positive vision they have. Now, on the other hand, Orthodox ethics, this is beautiful, messy, and transformative side. It's not just following rules, it's about theosis, becoming like God by grace, participating in his energies. Love God, love your neighbor, repentance, humility, fighting the passions, liturgy, confession, the sacraments. The church fathers, like St. John Chrysostom and St. Basil, are huge on this. Human beings are fallen, but incredibly valuable as image of God. Real freedom isn't just doing whatever, hedonism, it's freedom from sin as you can freely choose the good and intercommunion with God and others. So on the surface, one side looks cold and rational, the other warm and mystical. But watch this. The big one for me is free will. Orthodoxy takes free will insanely seriously. God doesn't force anyone to love him, he invites. Coercion ruins genuine virtue. Sound familiar? That's basically the libertarian instinct against the state forcing good behavior. I remember reading Father Andrew Stephen Damick on this. He basically says political liberty makes theological sense because God treats us as a free persons. We should do the same with our neighbors. Forcing someone to be charitable through taxes doesn't change their heart. It often just creates resentment. Property rights are another huge overlap. The Russian Orthodox Church's official basis of the social concept from 2000 straight up defends private property as a legitimate relationship to the fruits of your labor. It's not absolute adultery, but it's real. The fathers criticize hoarding and selfishness hardcore, but they didn't call for the state to seize everything. They want voluntary generosity. Property lets you be a steward, provide for your family, and give alms freely. That fits libertarian homesteading and voluntary exchange perfectly. Non-aggression? Thou shalt not murder, steal, bear false witness. Defensive force gets some nuance in the tradition, but the default is peace. Early Christians lived in voluntary communities. Acts 4-5 is voluntary sharing, not communism. Monasticism shares radical community, but you choose it. The church thrives when it's not propped up by the state. Libertarian legal structures protect conscious, religious liberty, and voluntary associations better than almost anything else. No one forcing you into the right religion or morality. Okay, but it's not all sunshine. There are real tensions. Libertarianism, especially Ayn Rand flavor, can feel super optimistic, like I am an island, screw everyone else. Orthodoxy says we're persons in communion. Sovereignist, that deep unity. The answer? Keep libertarianism thin for law and politics. The legal system just stops aggression. Then inside that free space, Christians build thick, beautiful communities through the church, family, and mutual aid, philanthropy. Nikolai Berdiev, this Orthodox philosopher, is golden here. He roasted both Soviet collectivism and shallow individualism. He wanted personal freedom for creative spiritual life. Charity versus justice is the hottest spot. Some fathers talk like the poor have a claim on the rich because everything ultimately comes from God. St. Basil and Chrysostom get fiery about it. Libertarians say taxation is theft. Here's how I reconcile it. The state enforces basic justice, no aggression, clear property rights. The church and individual Christians handle the radical generosity part under grace. Coerced giving often fails both practically and spiritually. Voluntary mutual aid societies and church ministries can do it way better anyway. Moral laws are another one. Orthodoxy calls certain things sin that a libertarian society would legally tolerate. That's fine. Law isn't just gospel. The church teaches virtue. The state just keeps the peace so people can freely choose and be evangelized. Markets, usury, all that, they are patristic warnings. But modern Orthodox social thought largely accepts markets with moral guardrails. Prosperity from free exchange gives you more to give. So, what does the ultimate synthesis really look like? I call it something like Orthodox libertarian personalism or a free theodic order. Legally, strong NAP, private property, polycentric or minimal defense, maximum religious liberty. Spiritually, the church as the heart, liturgy, asceticism, confession, radical hospitality, and almsgiving. Economics, free markets plus robust voluntary safety nets through churches, families, and associations. Politics, localism, subsidiarity, influence culture by persuasion and example, not the sword like the apostles did. Anthropology, humans as a fallen image bearers with incredible potential for theosis. Liberty gives a space for that drama of free choice. Okay, it's not utopian. We're in a fallen world, but this setup maximizes conditions for people to freely pursue God while protecting the innocent. Look, this isn't really perfect. Some Orthodox will think it's too Western. Some libertarians will think it's too religious. But I believe it holds up really well when you go to the sources. You know, if this resonated, drop a comment. Are you Orthodox or libertarian leaning? Where do you see the biggest conflict? What should I cover next? Don't forget to hit the like if you enjoyed the deep dive. Subscribe for more intersections of faith, freedom, and philosophy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.